Hey, good morning, guys, and welcome to growkidsminds.com. I'm Lisa Rigoni, and today we want to talk about grit and why it's important for our children's growth. And I've just recognized that my hair is looking very similar in a lot of these videos. I do them after I take the baby swimming. That's our special time together. So it's mum life, you know, things are busy, and sometimes my hair is not perfect. All right, so let's talk about grit. Now, there's a book I always recommend. It's by Angela Duckworth, and it talks significantly about grit. She did a lot of research on it in the US, particularly in one of their education/armed forces programs over there, and among other things. And so she has a really good handle on that. If you're an adult, it's an adult book. As a parent or a teacher, and you want to read more about grit, resilience, perseverance, and how it works, I guess, with people, and then convert that to turning into working with kids, you can do that. But basically, I just wanted to cover today, why it's important for our children's growth, and kind of give you, I guess, a bit of a pat on the back that it's okay. It's okay that kids don't want to do things all the time, and they want to give up on something, and they don't feel confident and all the rest of it about it. So let's run through, I guess, how that works, because I'm seeing a lot in our Facebook group. If you're not in our Facebook group, you can go find that. It's Mindset for Kids. It has growkidsminds.com in the title, so you can just pop that into Facebook. It's also connected to our Facebook page. But inside that group, I'm hearing a lot of parents and a lot of teachers, more parents than teachers, I would say, talking about how their children just want to give up easily, and they'll try something once and then they'll stop, or they just won't give it a go because they don't have the confidence to do it. So confidence is a whole nother thing that we cover in lots of other videos, so I'm not going to go into that today. But grit-wise, I do want to just cover and talk about what it is. So what it is that perseverance to keep going when you want to give up. So the kids, I've got a good video, I'll have to find it actually, of one of our sons when he was 2 or 3, somewhere around there, just starting to talk, and he's building blocks, and they're not going together, and he just cracks the crankies, spits them across the floor at his grandmother's house, and he's like, yeah, that's it, I'm not doing it. And I spoke to him then at 3 about never giving up. That's not how we do things. If we give up on things now, then we will give up on things forever. And if you want to be able to build that castle, I think he was building at the time, with the blocks, then even when it's hard, you need to keep going and keep trying, and just do one little thing at a time and never give up. And there's a little video of him saying, and he's built it at the end, he's like, never give up. And he's still today, 5 years later, will say, that's it, I'm quitting. And he'll storm off, and I leave him because I know he'll come back. And he comes back and he's like, okay, I'm not giving up. What do we need to do next? So you can start it early, I guess is what I'm saying, and you need to grow it as they grow as well. So if you're instilling it early, then it'll start to carry through with them through life. And if you're starting a little bit later, it's going to be a little bit harder, but you can do smaller steps and just make sure that you're rewarding as they go through, or praising as they go through, and they achieve those things, so they're sticking to them. Now, the Angela Duckworth, she commented on people going through this particular academy, and a lot of them would drop out. So it's the same with anything: sport, academics, art, whatever it is that your children, maybe don't want to put that much effort into, or they don't feel like they're confident at. It doesn't matter what it is. If they've got that grit, they're going to outperform the people that have natural talent. So that's what her research was showing. So you might come in with the natural talent, the ability, the expectation that you'll be fine, but it's the kids that have learnt to have that grit, that resilience and perseverance, that will end up outperforming the children that have the natural talent, if those children with the natural talent haven't also been taught to have grit and perseverance. So this is all good, but what do we do, right? So they want to give up, and we know that the magic happens after they've gone through that and they have that breakthrough. So how do we get them to that breakthrough? Not always easy, but I think there's a couple of things that I would say I try to do with the children. And I've had some pretty tough cases in some classrooms. One of the things would be, as they're getting older, I talk about committing to things. You know, if you make a commitment, you stick to it. And if you want to get to here, you need to go through here first before you're going to get there. You can't just jump from here to here. It doesn't work like that. So you need to work through those milestones. So if they're a little bit older, you can talk to them about, here's the goal and here are the little milestones to get to each one. And then each time they get to that milestone, celebrate it somehow. So it doesn't have to be a celebration of food. It might be going out. It might be playing outside. It might be 5 minutes of a computer game. It might be picking flowers together. It might be going to a movie, whatever it is. You know, each time they reach that little step, that milestone, celebrate that, because that's an improvement on where they were here. You know, my 8-year-old, again, I talk about him a lot. He's been doing hip hop at school. They're paid lessons through the school. He's been doing them for 3 terms. So for me, at the end of the year, I'm looking forward to, I've watched the moves at home. They're not very good. And that's okay, because he's only been doing it for 3 terms. But I'm looking forward to seeing the end of year performance, whether it's good, bad, ugly, fantastic, whatever, you know, he's my kid, doesn't matter. But he's committed to something. He's stuck with it. He's shown responsibility on going to those classes without being prompted all of the time. And I'm looking forward to just seeing him be able to be rewarded by performing that for other people. And then again, next year, because he's expecting to continue on. So next year at this time, what's he going to be like in comparison to this year? So we'll be able to talk about that growth over time. And that's just by taking that commitment and sticking to it and having little steps along the way. Just go to the class, just learn the next step. And at the start, he was negative. I can't do it. I can't do the moves they're doing. Everyone dances better than me. You know, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm no good at this. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going to quit. All these sorts of things. And I said to him, well, the lessons are paid for, so, and you've made that commitment now, so you need to at least finish the term. What can you do to improve? And so by putting that onus back on him, he said to me, okay, well, I can go and ask someone else to show me some of the moves. So he did that. And, you know, I can say it's okay if I don't get it right the first time, and I just need to keep practicing. So there've been a lot of lessons along the way for him to now, 3 terms later, get to a point where he's like, okay, you know, we have a little dance. It's not perfect, but we're looking forward to performing it. And that's the same with all kids. So when they're ready to give up, they've had enough, they want to quit, they don't think they can do it, then it's up to us to go, okay, well, no one can do it when they start, you know. And I always refer back to babies and things like that, or treats, because we can physically see those things growing. And if you've got a baby at home or someone young at home, you can show them, you know, that child couldn't walk initially. They couldn't talk, they couldn't walk, they couldn't roll, they couldn't move, whatever stage they're at, they couldn't do anything. But as they can see them grow and they can see the change. And that's not because they gave up. The baby, I call her the baby, she's almost 3, 2.5-year-old on the weekend, running through a trampoline place, gets to a big step and she doesn't go, oh, I can't do that. She tries to climb up it and she can't do it. And that's okay. So then she goes back and she takes a longer run up. And I'm watching this whole process without being involved. And she gets a little bit higher, goes back, has another go. One of the older kids comes to help her. No. And she climbs up on her own. And by the end of that afternoon, she's climbing up on ones bigger than that one, all on her own. So I use those sorts of things as example for the older kids. Like if Rose, the little baby, can do those things, she didn't give up. She just kept trying and improving each time until she got it. So if she can do that, that means it's ingrained in us as humans. It's part of how we're born. It's only as we get older and we start overthinking that we think we can't do something. So instead of doing that, what can you do? So I think this video has gone on a long time. I'm very big on the whole grit thing, and sticking with something and not giving up, you know, because once they get that breakthrough, then that's where all the change happens. So once my son got over that he couldn't do the moves and he worked out how to just improve each lesson, now he loves hip hop and he's looking forward to performing. Once the 2.5-year-old got over that first step, she got faster and better at climbing up it, and then she challenged herself to do bigger steps. And there was no room for her to think, I can't do this. It was, how am I going to do this? And the expectation is, I will do it. So our job as parents and educators is to make sure that we're helping our children see there's no barrier there except the barrier that we put in front of ourselves. So rather than saying you can't, let's have a look at some ways that you can. How can you do that? You know, and it's not going to be always going from here to here immediately. Sometimes it's tiny little steps along the way, and that's okay. So what's the next tiny little step to get there? And once we get that tiny little step, we're going to celebrate that because that's a win. All right, so that's it for me. That's Lisa at growkidsminds.com. If you've got any questions, hit us up at Facebook or any social media. We have the same tag, and join our group if you're not already in it. And I will see you next week.